What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I hope everybody's doing well today. So today we're going to be finishing up this sphere, and I turned this on Monday and yesterday, both days. I wanted to try my sphere jig out again, and I didn't really want to do it on the live stream because I really wanted to focus on it. Last time I used that thing, the results were horrible. It kept digging in, and I wanted to kind of put some time into it. So I didn't have time to do the stream on Monday, but I figured, why don't we finish this guy up? You can tell it's almost done. Basically at this point, I think I have one more step of wet sanding, and then it's just buffing. So I'm not going to go for a finish. I think the Burl chunks may be a little bit dull compared to the resin after we buff it, but I kind of want to see how it works out. And I want to kind of see how that stuff, just dye stabilized wood, looks using that new car polish. So a little bit of testing and having some fun, but I didn't really want to, today all I had to do was sand it, and I really didn't want to sit here and sand on the live stream the whole time. So I was trying to get that done before the stream. So it should be pretty fun. And then the other thing, let me go grab it. I'm going to, to be honest, you guys might, a lot of you guys that watch a lot of my stuff probably know that I kind of get to the end and I'm like, oh, it turned out, because that's really all that I care about. I'm not really that worried about, is everything perfect? But this time I got a little bit of resin left, and I thought I should probably make a little bit of a base instead of just coming up with some sort of makeshift, stick it on a piece of wood kind of thing. So we're gonna give it a proper base using the same resin, so it should be kind of fun. I'll do a little bit of turning, but we'll finish up the sphere first. Just a little, like I said, one wet sanding step, and then some buffing and polishing. So let me stop real quick, and I want to see what's lots of people here already. Man, you guys are on the ball. So Jim's here, and Todd, nice. DK Phillips here, nice. Martian. And Doug is here. What's up, man? There's a few people from Ohio, it looks like. Jeff? And maybe not. Joel's here. Nice. Awesome. And Jen's here. How's it going? So, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the stream. So, why don't I show, just in case some of you guys didn't see on Instagram. So, on, I guess it was last Friday, wasn't it? Yeah. Last Friday, we cast these kind of funky aluminum, they're Mexican, let's see, I gotta think of the name, Mexican crinkle ornaments, I think is what they're called. I got them from Art when I was at the SoCal Pen Turner gathering. He gave me these things, and so we cast some up, made a few different blanks, and they turned out pretty darn good. One of the things that we were a little bit, I was kind of questioning was this stuff. I tried treating, just kind of hitting it with some denatured alcohol and some acetone, and it totally just bled. It took off the dye. So I wasn't sure if the resin was going to do that or not, and it obviously didn't. There's not dye coming off and going everywhere. Really happy with this one. This is that macro pearl in it, and man, macro pearl is pretty bomb, guys. I got to be honest. It's like, I don't know, it's that sparkly fun stuff. And then, what did I show you guys? And then this one, we did some pen blanks with some crazy pinks and purples. Should be kind of cool. I got to cut this one up. Now, one thing that I did see, so I was explaining that I was trying to hit it with a little bit of denatured alcohol or acetone. Usually, I like to hit, anything that I'm casting that's like metal. I like to hit it with some acetone just to take off any surface contaminants, let's say. And for the most part, everything turned out pretty good, but there are a couple, let's see, I don't know if I can even, I'm not sure if this is going to show up. Let's see if I can get this to show up. Where is it? Right there. Let me get in front of the camera here. Is it going to focus? Let me scoot back just a little bit. Where is it? Right there. Well, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but there is like a glossy, shiny spot, which kind of looks like where the resin didn't adhere very well. Just one spot that was totally noticeable in this one. So we'll have to see how these turn. I don't know if we may have some problems. I wasn't able to clean them off because it would have just taken all the dye off of the stuff. So I don't know, but it was fun casting them. So big thank you to Art. So let's stop really quick. This is not getting Friday's video finished. Well, hopefully today will be kind of quick. The Turning Edge. How's it going, Danny? Welcome to the stream. And Bert's from Georgia. Nice. So first things first, I guess, in other news, I have a new video camera. For anybody that has seen my old one, it's exactly the same as the old two. So I have the video camera. The problem is I don't have, I have the patch cable. My solution is to put a lighter cable coming out of the camera so it's not wearing on that connection. What ends up happening is that connector like basically jacks up the connector to the HDMI plug. So I'm going to put something a little bit lighter, kind of tape it down and let it be able to move when I'm panning and tilting and moving the camera around. And then I'm going to clamp down the actual, like plug another plug into that. The problem is, I didn't even think about it, my HDMI cable that I usually use, the long one, is male to male, and the other patch cable is male to male, so I had no way to connect them together. So I don't really even want to mess with it today, even though I could plug it into my long cable. I don't want to do that because I don't want to break this camera as well. Hoping that I can keep this thing for a few years that's this time. So next Friday though, maybe this Friday, I have to think about it. I have a cable that's a male to female on order. So it's either going to be this Friday or next Friday, but soon we will have a good camera where I can actually zoom in and get behind it and focus everything. So just wanted to let you guys know that it's coming soon. So Joy's here. How's it going? Wayne the Woodturner. Mike Schmitz is here. Awesome. You guys are rocking it. So let me switch to the turning view, and I'm going to kind of, I don't know if that top view is even worth messing with, but yeah, I'm not even gonna move this around. Whatever, you can see kind of what I'm doing up in the top there. So let's see, we are on the right camera. Let's see, is this gonna blow this out? No, should be okay. We're looking okay. So you might notice I'm using different thingamabobbers in here, and it's not because I don't like the other ones. It was just these run truer than the other ones were running, so I didn't want to mess around. So same deal though, they're just little wedgy things that you kind of can hold a blank in between. One of them is a live center, one of them is a dead center, so it will actually, you know, rotate the sphere or whatever you got in there. So let's get this guy going. Like I said, I turned this with I have a Carter sphere jig. All right, and the last time that I used it, I got terrible results. And it was one of those things where I'm like, I hate this thing. It's kind of how I felt. So hopefully that's on the screen. And it was really expensive, and I was kind of mad. And after turning the grapevine blank, and it turned out horrible. Now, part of the reason it turned out absolutely horrible is because I just flat out quit turning it. I was kind of done. However, after that debacle, I thought, you know, maybe I should pull out that sphere jig because when things go awry, turning spheres by hand, you got a lot of material to take off to get back on track, and it's going to take a lot of time. So, pulled it back out, and the more I thought about it, my problem, I think, the last time that I used it, now it was a little bit of a bigger sphere. I think it was probably like a 6-inch sphere, a couple inches diameter bigger, but the problem was I had it set wrong. I had it too high, and what the problem I was having was it was like digging in to the blank, like you would catch kind of and dig in. And the reason for that, if you're turning something on like a spindle and you have that cutter too high, if it does dig in, it's gonna basically pull it in further because it's sitting up too high. you're less catchy being below it. But with these sphere jigs, you really want to be like pretty much dead center. So I redid it and it worked a lot better. This time I didn't have the catchiness and all that kind of stuff because I had set it up correctly. So it was a little bit more enjoyable. Now, I have to be honest. I've used the Carter sphere jig a few times now and it works okay. But I really want to get my hands on a Vermec and try one of those out because everyone that I see using them, it just seems easier than this Carter one. So just wanted to kind of mention that a little bit. But let me get my... Now I'm going to have to kind of switch back and forth because I'm trying to shoot an actual video with this one as well. So I'm going to kind of be switching back. I need to get a few shots of buffing this thing. And I guess probably the base as well. But let me open up the YouTube app real quick so I can see the chat. And obviously this one turned out a lot better. It's it's actually round. So the jig worked pretty good, but I don't know. All right, so whoa, OJ, super chat. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. How you doing over there in Texas? No, Jeff, this isn't a new lathe. I've had this one for a long time. Oh, Billy has a new lathe. What did you get, Billy? Sorry, I should probably pay attention to what's going on. Oh, I'm sorry, Joy. That's sorry to hear that. It's always hard. Okay, so I got my chat. I got my blank. Like I said, all we got to do, we're going to be doing the last grit of what is this? Zona paper. And I got this thing pretty much finished. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of water on this guy. And I don't even know what grit this one is. It's probably somewhere up around 3,000 or 4,000. Somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000, something like that. This blue piece of paper. And so what I did, like I said, I used the jig to get everything all spherical. And then I started sanding at 80 grit. Just to kind of smooth out it. I had a few tool marks and stuff. I didn't really take the time to try and get like that final perfect pass. Probably would have been a better idea, but I was kind of like, okay, let's just sand this thing. So I started at 80 just to kind of smooth everything out and then went up through the grits, 120, 180, 220, 400, 600, 1,000, and then the green, gray, and now the blue papers, Zona papers. Brian, what's up, man? Hey, Cody. Oh, well, I've been trying to. I wasn't able to on Monday. To be honest, I had a ton of stuff to do for getting blanks prepped and all kinds of stuff. And then I did spend time on Monday turning this, but I really didn't want to. I really wanted to figure out that sphere jig and see if I could get better results than the last time. So I didn't really. It's kind of tough to do that kind of level of really figuring stuff out and trying to do a stream. But I've been trying to kind of do as much as I can and try to avoid. There's a lot of people that do not like live streams, 1 hour or 2 hour long videos, and they get so mad. I always find it hilarious, though, that I wasted their time, supposedly. That's what they say. And then they spend more time complaining. And I'm like, why didn't you just leave or not watch the video when it said 1 hour? It's kind of funny. So let's see here. Yeah, sorry. Whatever. These are Carters. I tried using the Chucky ones and they weren't really running very true. It was kind of wobbling and I was like, that's not what I want to be doing right now. So I used the Carters, which just kind of run true. I don't know what the deal is with the Chucky ones, but not a big deal for sanding. And really I could switch out. I actually kind of like the rubber Chucky ones because they have a smaller surface or, cup basically. I gotta focus on what I'm doing here. We got this grit really good on this axis. But when I was turning it, I really didn't want to have run out because I was trying to get good results, and I didn't want the results to be skewed because my rubber chucky thing was running funky. It was the tailstock one. And I'm sure I can just true it up easily. It's just I didn't really want to deal with it. So I like to do a little bit of hand sanding with pretty much once I start wet sanding. I run it and do it with the lathe on, and then just kind of do a little extra at the end just to make sure that I've a couple things that I'm doing. I can kind of really focus on, applying even pressure to it and not I'm trying to take out any deeper scratches than I meant to put in type thing. With polishing papers, that's not as that big of a deal, but I just find that I kind of get a little bit better results if I, sand with it running and then do a little bit of hand sanding at the end just to kind of smooth everything out. What are you working on, Doug? Is it a secret? I appreciate you guys supporting the show, but if you got to get videos done, I totally understand. You can pop back in and out, do a little bit of turning or casting. What are you working on? Tell me what you're working on. Show me what you're working with. Liquid diamonds to cure. You're going to be waiting a little while. It's not as bad as some, but I really just don't have the patience for most epoxies. It's not epoxy in general, it's just slow setting resins. Doug's working on a bowl. Nice. Well, make a few shavings, pop in and say hi, make a few shavings, You can do both. That'll turn out great. Divide your focus. I can't even just do a live stream and kind of sort of pay attention to the chat and work a sphere jig. Does anybody in the chat have a Vermec sphere jig? I'm just kind of curious. Pretty much everyone I know that has one loves it. The reason I went with Carter off the bat is that one will the capacity is bigger on the Carter. You can turn a bigger sphere. And it's adjustable and all that kind of stuff, but the Vermex just seem like you just kind of set it up and it just does its thing. It's a little bit simpler. I don't know. One issue that I still have is when you turn it, you get done and you part off the thing. When you turn the thing, the sphere, and start doing it like 90 degrees to the original axis, then I don't know, it never stays perfect. You just got to I find that I constantly am just taking more and more material off, so I usually just kind of stop and start sanding. So there we have it. It's looking pretty good. I got to be honest, I could have stopped at like 1,000 grit and this thing would have looked fine. It would have been a matte finish, but it really looked pretty awesome. I'm just going to I like to use this light when I'm trying to look at surfaces. It's super high powered and you can get a really good kind of reflection. But I think, yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I think the triple E white diamond and then car polish should make this thing perfect, let's say. So real quick, let me move the camera so that you guys, I'm going to put this over here so I don't drop it at this point because that would really ruin my day. Don't like that. I'm just going to spin you guys around. You can kind of watch from a distance. I'm also going to set up my other camera because I kind of wanted to do, I was shooting video the whole time. It wasn't like a how to use the sphere jig thing. It's just going to be kind of a quick project video, but thought it'd be kind of, since I'm doing it, I may as well get a few shots here and there. So I'm going to close my phone down. Can't see the chat. Sorry, guys. I need more devices. Jeez. And then get my phone set up. Can you guys see the phone? Yeah, you guys can kind of see this. So this is kind of far away, but whatever. I got a new face mask. Also, guys, you're going to laugh. I forgot to post this. Check this out. I am so ready for everything that could ever happen. I got the pandemic flu kit face mask. They had this at Woodturner's Wonders, and I wanted to try this mask. It just seemed lighter. I don't know. And I actually kind of like the way that this thing, can you guys see me? Kind of like the way this thing works. You just basically stick that thing over your, in your neck. Not in your neck, but around your neck. And then it's really simple to put on and take off. I kind of liked it. It wasn't cheap, but I do like the RZ mask still. But when you do need to, there are certain cases where a respirator is really better, especially if you're spraying finishes or something like that, or if you're doing like heavy dust and you really can't have any particles or anything like that, then it is good to wear a full mask. But anyway, so I'm gonna wear this today and just kind of try it out. I just wanted to see how it worked, basically, and I don't know. The respirators that I have been using are I don't know what numbers these are. The 3M 7502. And I got to be honest, your neck is just killing you after like half an hour of using it. So if it's an extended period of time, pretty much I'm not going to keep it on. And that's why I like the RZ masks, because I would actually put those on. They don't drag your neck down after a while. So anyway, that being said, let's get this camera kind of set up. Get a couple simple shots and then we'll be good. Very exciting, isn't it? The video making process. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not with this face mask on. I really should have a light, but actually I got a light right here. Oh. All right, I don't want to wear that mask right now. I can't talk. I feel weird. We're going to put the RZ mask on. See, this is why I like these things, because they're so much easier. But like I said, if you want 100% protection, it's not a bad idea to have a mask. And for, you know, your pandemics. The only difference, the reason that thing's called the pandemic kit, and the reason I bought that one, it wasn't because I'm worried about pandemics. I didn't buy it for anything like that. The thing is, it came with like 100 pre-filters, and I'm like, well, of course that's the one I'm gonna get, you know? That's the only difference between it and the non-pandemic flu one. So, anyway, I'm good though. I'm covered for the pandemic. Get my stuff on here, get this thing out of the way. Man, this thing's pretty wicked. I don't know if it's showing up. I don't know if that'll show you guys, but man, this is gonna be a good piece. All right, let me focus on this. I'll tell you what, you know, I really like doing like transparent things, and you know, you see the guys that are making like the little Star Wars figures or, you know, crafts that are in transparent resin, but man, tell you what, this just Pearl with these colored Burl pieces. Dang. I definitely do like a nice colorful blank. All right, I think I got all the spots here. I'm gonna call that good. We're gonna switch to the white diamond wheel here. Get the camera back over here. Tell you what, guys, shooting videos does definitely add time to the creation process. All right. This thing looked pretty cool, matte, you know, with a matte finish, but man, tell you what, glossy is even better. Woo, man. Maybe if I stand like this, I don't know. I don't know if it's focusing or not. Oh, there we go, kind of. Man, this thing is sweet. Seriously. All right, so let me flip you guys around again, and we'll get that buffing wheel on the lathe. There you go. Dump some water off. Okay. Let that dry. I think I'm actually just going to leave the ShamWow there. One thing I also wanted to mention about the sphere jig, so that I think is, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this stuff, but I'm not a big fan of the cutter that comes with it. It's super aggressive. It's got like a lip. It's the Hunter style carbide cutters. And so the problem is you can't just swap out, you know, with a negative rate cutter. It fits this cutter specifically. This is the thing that came with the Carter sphere jig. So I made my own little bar thing that will hold a negative rate cutter, and I like that a little bit better. To be honest, I did use this, and I got decent results on a small sphere. So, you know, it is angled down. So, you know, it's an aggressive lip, but it is angled down. So I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about it, but obviously the negative rate cutter worked quite well, you know, on this project. And I don't know of any that actually, there's no sphere jigs that actually are able to just, you know, mount a negative rate cutter as far as I know. But it does kind of seem smarter to me. I don't know. Definitely no expert when it comes to this kind of stuff. All right, so this is a string buff, super fine. This is one of the, like, if you're going for like a super, you know, high grit polish or something like that, these string buffs are the way to go. And this is just a tapered mandrel. And then what I'm going to be using is 105, Meguiar's 105 compound. I've been getting pretty good results with that. And the way that I do it, I just kind of smear some on the piece and then kind of buff it off. So I'll be doing a couple of rounds with this. I gotta get my camera in here too. I would just rip out some of the video from this, you know, that you guys are watching, but the problem is I gotta download the entire video. And since it's gonna be kind of long, I don't really want to mess with that file. So there's that. So I'm just trying to get a couple clips for that other video. Let me double check and make sure that you guys... I just looked at that little graphic thing from OJ. That thing's awesome. With the super chat. Okay, so you guys got a good view. Looks like. And I have no clue. You know, there's plastic polishes, there's car polishes. Frankly, they're all probably kind of the same. But I have personally been getting decent results with this 105. So I'm just going to kind of stick with it. It just seems to be doing what I want, kind of thing. To be honest, they all kind of probably work about the same, just to let you know. Just kind of depends on what, you know, how fine of a grit each, you know, one is. That's really the only difference. They're all, these things are all abrasives. So, whoo, man. That looks good. Wow. All right, I gotta add a little bit more to this thing. I really gotta get my face mask fixed up here. Hold on a minute. Adjustments need to be made. It's a good idea to wear a mask when you're buffing stuff. You know, again, these are all abrasives. You don't necessarily want to be breathing this stuff, especially the buffing rouges. So I'm just going to give this a few whatchamacallit, a few rounds of this, basically. Trying to keep track of the parts that I've already done. It's kind of hard. Dang. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite projects all time. The shine is just ridiculous on this thing. Whew. Real quick, I know you guys are actually live here, but I'm gonna get behind the camera here and just do this real quick for the video. Okay, get that out of the way. Get a shot for you guys. Man, this thing is, hopefully you guys can see that. Holy cow. It's looking good. Now, you know, the Burls are definitely not the same machine as the resin. So, you know, if you put a coating of some sort of a top coat finish on this, it would be a little bit, you know, the wood parts would be the same sheen. But, I mean, really, splitting hairs, I think. And it would kind of be a pain trying to put a finish on a sphere. It really wouldn't be the most exciting thing, I don't think. So not bad. I'm pretty excited about this. So let me open up my, I'm not gonna be able to look at the chat with my phone. Let me go over here and look at the chat real quick. See what's happening. All right. Cool. Okay, it looks like you guys are staying on top of things here. So I'm going to put this aside, and the next thing that we're going to do is make a stand for this. So I'm going to take this stuff apart really quickly. And we're going to turn it up. So I got a little bit of a little part of that, the base left. So we're just going to do kind of a no frills, kind of simple type of a thing. And we'll just turn up a little base. I mean, really, I'm probably just going to kind of, you know, dish it out a little bit. I do kind of like this little kind of OG profile kind of thing, or cove, I guess is what it is. Maybe we'll kind of do that and then just have like a little dish in the middle. Like I said, nothing big or spectacular, just something so I don't have to display that on my rubber chucky. Rubber chuckies are pretty neat and all, but they just aren't a good display stand. So let me just bear with me with these extra camera shots. And I think I'm going to put this thing on the other side here. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this thing's got some chunks on the side. It had a couple of those little air pocket things on the side. So we're going to also have to bring this thing down a little ways in diameter. But really, this thing, I don't need it to be 2 inches thick either. You know, it really just needs to be very thin. So I'm just going to kind of take down the side of this a little bit and then just kind of turn it, you know, turn it into a little no-frills stand kind of thing. And we should be pretty good. Oh, one other thing, guys. Let's go, let me show you. I got a new CBN wheel. So a lot of people didn't realize I've had CBN wheels for years at this point. But I had this one, which is a 180, and I had an 80 grit. So when I first bought these things, when I heard there was a system that you never have to re-true up and do all that, I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. So I had these for a while, but I kind of was under the impression like the grit levels would be the same, sorta, as normal grinding wheels. So I bought an 80 and a 180. And and they've worked fine, but I really never used the 80 almost. And, you know, the 180 brings it was sharp, but then I started like researching a little bit more and, well, a couple things happened, but I was looking at CBN wheels and really you're better off for turning tools. You know, obviously the higher the grit, the better. And the sharper it's going to get and the longer the edge is going to last. So I decided to get a 600 grit wheel. Now the 180 is going to be for more, because this thing was, it was pretty aggressive. You know, it would take off some serious metal. The 600 is for just kind of touching up, which is what I usually do over here. So I'm pretty excited about it. And anyway, that's the moral of the story is I'm pretty excited about it. I haven't really used it yet or anything, but I think it was a good investment, good little upgrade. Let me get you guys right there. I'm going to put a mask on this time. Don't really want to breathe this stuff. And I don't really want to mess around with the dust collector. The dust collection doing this sphere did not work at all this time. So it's kind of a hit or miss type thing I'm finding with this dust collection at the lathe. One difference was I had a fan blowing, and I think that kind of it blew the shavings that way, which was not the direction where my thing was. I had the dust collection hose thing here, and it's blowing the shavings back at the dust collector itself. So, I don't know. Let's do it the right way, forward. How about that? Okay. Start this recording. Okay, so I guess I don't need these gloves on anymore. Tell you what, guys, for wet sanding though, I think putting gloves on is really the way to go. Your hands will love you. All right, so I just wanted to lop that off real quick. I'll switch over to this thing. Do a little bit of finessing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a lot of finessing, I think, actually. I'm gonna have to kind of take a good amount off the side of this thing. Next week we should have the regular camera back, so you guys will be able to kind of get up in there, see a little bit more. All right, I think that's pretty good. So again, I don't really think this is going to be much thicker than maybe like a ½ inch or whatever total, 3/4. I just want to kind of raise up, kind of make a cove, and then just indent the, the very center of it, obviously. And I think I'll be happy with that. Uncover myself. A little bit low. Okay. We're looking good. Looking good. So that rubber Chucky thing, honestly, the cup on it is a pretty good, it's working good. So I think I'm just gonna try and sort of mirror this. Looks like I kind of have a little bit of a guide there, but we'll just kind of. Is that thing playing? Good. Okay. That's probably enough. Now look at how flat the two rims are. Pretty good. Just kind of touch this up a little bit. Change camera angles. We're gonna get way close in this time. We're getting the zoom. Helps to hit play, record. Okay, let's see how it fits. Can you guys see it? Let's see here. Sort of. Let me pan down a little bit for you guys. Down, I said. All right. Oh yeah. I think we need to dish it out a little bit more. It's just a little bit more dishing, and we will be good. I think I'm going to turn off my camera. I'm going to go back to the chat room so I can see you guys. Thank you for, did you miss everything? A little bit. A little bit. Okay. we're making the base for the sphere. I had already pretty much finished up the sphere before we started the stream. Yeah. All we did was a little bit of polishing and buffing. But I wanted to make a base for it out of the same material so that it looks snazzy, you know? Gotta make it look snazzy. Let me look at the screen. What are you guys looking at? What are you seeing? It's not too bad. There, that's a little better maybe. To make sure everyone knows, I turned my lathe is running in reverse right now. So that I can get into this a little easier. All right, let's see how that's working now. What the heck happened to my phone? There we go. You guys are still here. Okay, let's give it another try. I think I like that. Okay. Let's do a little bit of everybody's favorite. Let's do some sanding. I can't wait. I'm excited. All right. I will turn on the dust collector for this because that is one thing that the dust collector excels at collecting. Sanding dust. Okay. I am not going to film sanding for the video part of the sanding of this entire thing because I just can't handle it. And I think everybody will figure out that I did that, right? Should be good. Can we start at 80 grit? No, we don't have to. We're going to start, I think we're going to start at probably 400 actually. Before we start sanding, I need to do a couple things though. I need to take down more of this. I didn't think about it. Got to take down a little bit more on the side there so I can actually get in and sand it. What am I doing? That should go pretty quick. So it's going to be a little loud. I'm going to turn this on. Oh, maybe not. Where'd my little thing go? There it is. Here we go. I'm going to put my mask back on today. Whoa. Okay. Oh, and actually, let me shut this thing off. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm actually going to put a little bit of lift maybe on there underneath. What do you guys think about that? Make it look like it's kind of floating. I don't know. Yeah, let's just leave it. I'll investigate floating bases some other day. Let's just get this thing sanded up and polished. I think I'm also, I don't think I'm going to go, I don't know. I want to see how it looks just kind of matte, not fully glossy. What are we talking about? Does anyone have a spreadsheet? Oh yeah. I write down, I think it's a good idea to at least have some sort of a notebook. You just, and I got to be honest, this really, for anything that you're doing in life, it just makes so much sense. You know, there's a reason why they, you know, when you're going to school, they have you take notes. It's because, you know, the act of writing it down, you know, helps establish that in your brain. And so not only do you make less mistakes when it comes time to like cast stuff, but, you know, you tend to learn better, you know, if you're a little bit kind of meticulous about doing, you know, your notes. If something goes wrong, you can, you know, write down a note and then not make that mistake again, kind of thing. And if you're trying to get very specific results or, you know, recreate results and stuff, you really need to keep notes. So I recommend it if you can. I got a lot better at casting when I started doing that. And I gotta be honest, guys, it took me a long time to actually start doing that before it like dawned on me. I wish I would have started. Where the heck did the... There it is. ShamWow! I wish I would have started doing it like off the bat. I would have saved myself a lot of wasted time. So actually I don't need... We're gonna wet sand off the bat. So I will say one other plus for wet sanding is you don't have to worry about the dust. But there are other ways to kind of combat that. Carl Jacobson has been using Howard's Feed and Wax as, you know, it's not wet sanding. He's usually doing it with wood, but, you know, waxy stuff like that, those pastes, that's not a bad way to go. You could probably just use Yorkshire grit, I guess. I don't know that I would waste the money on that. I think that Howard's Feed and Wax stuff is a lot cheaper. But, you know, wet sanding and using some sort of something that'll keep the dust out of your face, it's not a bad way to go. Okay. We're getting going here, guys, I swear. What time is it? Oh, we're doing pretty good today. Not too bad. I'm flying through this. One guy, somebody commented on one of my videos, it took you 2 hours to do 20 minutes of work. And I don't blame him for leaving that comment. It's true. I am not a fast worker. Okay, so I'm going to start at let's start at 220, I think. That ought to be good. Like I said, we're just going to start wet. And I'm not worried about the stabilized wood. I don't have a problem wet sanding that. There's no reason to worry about it. Slow that down. We're going about 300. Hopefully the stream is still going. Christina's here. You made it just in time. You're gonna see everything come to fruition here soon. Finished up the sphere already. And man, am I excited about that thing. Tell you that much. And then I'm just making a little base for it. All right, let's move up to 400. I'm not going to be super crazy about sanding on this one. We're going to kind of zoom through the grits. It may not be perfect. That's okay. The sphere, I would argue, is perfect. See you, Dominic. Have a good one. Quit sleeping, Billy. You guys are always having fun in the chat. So it took me probably about, I'm trying to think how long it took me to sand up the sphere completely. I want to say I probably put about an hour of sanding, maybe an hour and a half. The most, sanding and polishing and buffing and all that stuff, hour and a half maybe. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea. It takes a little while, you know, you can't just zoom through this stuff, especially on large larger turnings. That's one thing that I definitely kind of found out the hard way. Like pens are pretty quick. You don't really need to spend, you know, hours sanding a pen blank. But you know, you start getting into larger pieces and you really need a little bit more time, you know, to get everything sanded up to the, you know, that grit, whatever you're on. Oh, I should probably watch what I'm doing on the lathe, but I'm reading the chat while I sand. All right, so we're at 600, moving up to 1,000 here in a second. Where'd that go? There it is, 1,000. Typically I recommend, you know, like cleaning off between, you know, between each grit and doing all that stuff. I'm not doing this the proper way, but I think that I'll be able to, I think it'll be okay. And part of me is thinking maybe leaving this at like 1,000 grit, like a matte kind of finish. So it'll kind of differentiate from the sphere. That's, I mean, you know, to be honest, I mean, part of me is just kind of being lazy, but, you know, but at the same time, I also don't want this all to look like one piece. I want it to kind of be different, you know? So I don't know. The problem is I don't necessarily want to turn this thing off, you know, part it off and then come back and be like, oh, I should have really sanded that higher. I don't know. What do you guys think? Does anybody in the group want some of the Mexican ornaments? Hey, what's up, Art? I don't know, man. Ask around. Does anybody want the Mexican crinkle ornaments to cast? I think everybody's waiting to see if they turn okay. Probably. Like, I don't know, you turn one and you tell me if it's worth it. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sand this up. I'm going to go all the way through the grits. If I want to make it matte, I can always just hit it with some 1,000 grit or whatever, 1,200. But you can't really go the other way. You know, like I'd have to go through each grit going up. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to, you know, wet sand this all the way up if I were to be, if I were going to buff and polish it fully. I think that makes more sense. And if I want to scuff it down, I can, if I don't like it for some reason. So we're just going to keep on going. Keep on keeping on here. Well, I think it will look good. The sphere looked pretty darn good. Garn-dud. Can't talk. But I don't know. I mean, I got to be honest. It's like 85% of me is just being lazy with that. 5% of me is just coming up with it, you know. Oh, it'll differentiate it. That's a good excuse. I can always rationalize not doing work. So let me just stop and see where we're at here. One or two more grits is not going to really. Ooh, that's nice. I don't know. I actually do kind of like this mat. Where's my air? I think what I was saying is a good idea. We're gonna take it up all the way with the papers here, the zonas. And then I'll look at it once I've parted it off and all that stuff. I'm not going to buff it until I part it off probably anyway. So we'll give it a look. Okay, last step, blue. I'm not even going to mess around with wiping it off. No reason to stop and see where I'm at. That's true. It's a good thing I got you, Doug. I don't know what I'd do without you. Okay, we're going to call that good. Let's part this guy off. Let's see how chicken I want to be today. I got to be honest, so I did hook up the 600 grit CBN wheel and I touched up my 16th inch parting tool, and man, that's what I was using at first, and that thing was cutting like a beauty. So I do think that this 600 grit wheel is going to be an upgrade. Get this water off my bed. And this guy out. Okay, so let's see how far I'm willing to go. Where's my glasses? I dropped them on the ground, I forgot. I think I will set up my camera for this though. Where's my camera? Here it is. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna turn the fan on. This stuff doesn't just hang out, linger in front of my face. I'm gonna get 1,000 comments asking me why I'm wearing gloves while I'm parting this off. think I'm gonna have to touch this thing up already. Hold on, guys. Sure does cut nicely when it's razor sharp. I'm gonna come over and look at this chat. What's going on in the chat, guys? Why you Why am I wearing gloves while I'm parting that off? Well, usually I would have just taken them off, but I'm going to, I don't know. Probably would throw gloves on at some point if I was polishing it. So I thought I'll just leave them on, and then I'm like, I can't wait for the comments. You can't turn with gloves. It's illegal. You'll die. This thing's pretty simple to sharpen. I don't even turn it on. Just don't even need to. Okay. In fact, I'm going to put this camera on the back side right now, and it will get the parting it all the way off shot. Actually, we're going to go right here. Okay. Remind me to turn that camera back on before we get done. This thing's going to be kind of cool. All right, here we go. A little faster than that. Can't see how far we got. Turning the camera on. It's almost there. Look at that, I even did it with my hand, guys. Huh? Huh? That was pretty cool. That's the first time I've ever done that. Yeah, I kind of like it matte, it's fine. Doesn't need to be all shiny. Just need to clean up this. There's a little nib. To be honest, it's probably better to just take it pretty close and then cut it off, because you end up with this junk. But we got it. I'm just gonna. If I was super crazy, I would have got my coal jaws out and we could turn this. But I think I got it pretty flat. Aside from that little nib thing, yeah. It's a little bit kind of concave. So, can you see that? There's just a little bit of a chunk. I'm going to grab a chisel and just kind of cut that off real quick. Carefully. Not too shabby. Okay, now I can make another base out of this thing. Let's see how it turned out. Let's check our results. Get all our cameras ready here. This is going to be epic. I'm going to put gloves on, because I don't even want to get my hand oils all over the place. Let me check and make sure that you guys can see. I'm going to adjust that camera just a little bit. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to get rid of the... We're going to close that other window for now. This one? Yeah. Ha! Look at that. Now I can just center it. Okay. Here we go. I don't know which side I like the best. I'm gonna have to figure that out, you know? Kind of like this side. That's pretty killer. Woo! I like it. What do you guys think? Let's do a little bit of swooping in here. Swooping in action. I did some swooping. Okay. The glove police. Ta-da! Yay! Billy told me to turn the camera on. Thank you. So, okay, we got all the videoing done, I think. I'm pretty stoked about this. This is pretty cool. When I made this blank, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And all these are just like cut off chunks of stuff, you know? And I do kind of like the matte. It's just, I don't know. I could probably go either way, I guess, but I want this to be the main attraction, you know? I'm pretty stoked about this. Could maybe go a little bit like, you know, like skinnier. I could have gone a little bit of, you know, like a little bit further up maybe with this base. Might try that on the next sphere if I want to do something like this. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I'm gonna take the camera off the thing here, and I'm gonna give you guys the shots. Hold on, I gotta get the. Sorry, hold on, guys. Where did my light go? Let me get a light over here that's lower. Should help a little bit. Ooh. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Bring this over here. I guess that's it. That's all I was going to do today. I did that pretty quick. This time, it only took me an hour and a half to do 20 minutes of work. What's going on here? Let me switch camera views. Intro. There we go. Let's see here. Sherp? Who's Sherp? Where's the Sherp? Nice. Anyway, guys, I guess that's it. I still got a little bit of a chunk left. I got about half an inch or 5/8 left of that blank too. So I can maybe do something with that, even make another base, try a different one with maybe a little bit kind of skinnier in the middle. I don't know. Nice use of time. Yeah, I know. I'm telling you. I had fun. It's kind of shiny over here. Sorry about that. But man, I highly recommend if you guys got any, dye stabilized like little chunks, and to show you guys what I started with, I think I did this on a stream. I think I made this thing on a live stream. I'm gonna pull out my Burl chunks. I'll kind of show you what it started as. Yeah, this one. I'll just get a couple. I don't want to totally tear apart my little box of chunks. But all I did was I took, and I think, let's see, what did we use? I think I used a 4-inch PVC pipe for the casting. And I have just a bunch of these little random chunks, cut-offs of dye stabilized stuff that that I got a box of. And I literally just poured white pearl. I think I used the, I don't know, I'm not sure which pearl, but white pearl resin. It was just one single color. Just dumped it in there and then just shoved these guys down in randomly, and you get a really cool looking blank like that. So I made that, I want to say, when did we make that? I'm pretty sure that I made that on a live stream. I just don't have a clue which stream that was. It was like, oh, and I got this thing. Why don't we make something out of it? This will be kind of fun. It's kind of a random stream, I think. But I think I did a couple of blanks. I just can't remember exactly what I did on that stream exactly. So anyway, I hope you guys try it out. It kind of also was, it's kind of similar to Heath Knuckles' bark primaries video. I think it's a bowl, though, in his case. And actually, I want to look at something else. So I gotta look something up, guys. I'm gonna look something up real quick for you, and does anybody know what type of a project bark primaries was? Assuming you make a sphere? Huh. Oh, he made a bowl. All right, so yeah, so Heath Knuckles, if you guys don't follow Heath, you definitely want to follow Heath Knuckles. He's got some awesome videos. So here's a link to his video Bark Primaries. I'll try to remember to put one in the show notes for other people. Check that one out. It's very similar to this, but it was like a little kind of cup bowl thing. And then I have another one. I made a bowl as well. It's very similar to this as well. I'm going to go to my channel real quick and grab you guys another link for a fairly similar style project. It was a bowl though. I don't know what I would have called it. Oh, you know what? Might have been making hybrid blanks for Maker Central. I don't know about that. There it is, Resin. This is a pretty old video, so it probably is terrible, but, or let's just say worse than normal. But it is a cool it is a kind of a cool project. So that's a little bit different, like the bowl, kind of similar to the other bowl that I just made too. I'm using like a little red plastic bowl mold. So anyway, Graham, how's it going? You just showed up for the end. So if you want to, it'll be available if you want to kind of skim through and watch the beginning stuff. But, or I don't know if you were watching already, but here's what we got. Turned out pretty darn good. Got pretty good results with the Carter sphere jig, turning it. And then I got to be honest, guys, I'm really digging the car polish. That's kind of, it really just brings out that final kind of high gloss. So car polish or plastic polishes, I think that's not a bad, in buffing it. I think that also is kind of the key. I've been really digging that. I think that you'll probably get good results doing that on your resin projects as well. The only thing about this is, and you can probably see with the reflections, you know, the wood parts are a little bit dull compared to the resin. Obviously that stuff is super high gloss. And that's one thing you can sand down, you know, like your entire project like this. If you find like you don't really like the look of this, where the resin's super glossy and the wood chunks are kind of more of a matte semi-gloss finish, you could sand this down a little bit, down to like 1200 or so, kind of like what I did here. It's not as noticeable on this piece because it's kind of a matte finish, satin. So, you know, that is one way to kind of deal with that, where you know, you can get these little wood chunks up to a matte, you know, satin kind of look, along with the resin, and that'll be pretty even. It's just the resin's going to be a lot glossier than your even stabilized wood. But if you put a finish, a top coat finish, maybe like a lacquer or something like that on top, that would even everything out. So just to kind of let you guys know about that. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you guys stopping by for another kind of extra one. So on Friday we'll be doing the stuff from Soot's Crafting. We'll be casting this goodies. He sent in a bunch of ropes and things that he dye stabilized. And then this is Lotus pod, something. I think he said Lotus. So anyway, we'll be casting those up, see what we can make. Should be kind of fun. Yeah, I think that's about it. And one other thing I want to mention, just in case somebody was looking on my site, I am out of the blue to purple color shift powder, but it literally got delivered today, so I should have that back in stock early next week. So just want to let you guys know about that. It'll be back soon. So anyway, guys, again, Friday, 3 p.m., we'll do a little bit of Dunkin' Junk resin casting on the live stream. It should be pretty fun. Be looking for, as long as the footage all comes out good on this project, the sphere part, it's going to be a kind of a simple, I'm not really going to talk or anything. It'll just be kind of simple project video if you want to kind of see that kind of come together. Hopefully that'll be coming up soon. So be looking for that. And I guess that's about it. So As usual, guys, have a really great night. Stay safe, keep hunkered down until this crazy virus stuff blows over. And I will see you guys all on Friday. So have a great night.